at all these days. काफी देर हो गई ना मिले हुए तुम लोगों को.
काफी टाइम हो गया.
Yeah, this COVID really changed it.
क्या करें इसको? बंद करते हैं इसको?
जी.
हाँ जी.
नहीं, बंद क्या कर रहे हैं?
येलो जी नमस्ते.
सबको भी नमस्ते.
नमस्ते. नमस्ते जी.
नमस्ते येलो जी.
नमस्ते दिनेश जी. नमस्ते भीष्म जी.
बहुत दिनों बाद आपके दर्शन हो रहे हैं येलो जी, बहुत दिनों बाद.
Correct.
Namaste. So I think it's 8:01 and we can start our program. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining today's program organized by Friends of India Society International. I'm Vivek Sinha, one of the General Secretaries of FISI, welcoming you to this great program. Today we have two programs. One is a Darshana, a glimpse into the Hindu civilization. And second,
आपका वीडियो ऑफ है, वीडियो ऑन कर दीजिए.
नहीं, वीडियो ऑन है.
I can see him.
I can see him too.
I cannot see him too.
Yes.
Well, he has two phones, I think. One is off, one is on.
Oh.
Yes. So, as you know, Friends of India Society International has been conducting seminars, workshops, and presentation by distinguished persons on matters of India and the world at large. In this series, today we have our own Sangh Karyakarta, Mahesh Kalaji. And just to give you a very short introduction of Mahesh ji. Mahesh ji has been a Swayamsevak since his childhood, and currently he is holding the responsibility of National Communication Director, what we generally know as Sampark Pramukh, National Sampark Pramukh for Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh. Mahesh ji has done his postgraduate from BITS Pilani in electronics and instrumentation. Currently, he is working with Vanguard Group. He lives in Westchester, PA, with his wife Neelu. So, without further ado, at this time, I would like to invite our international president, Dr. Bhishma Agnihotri, to say a few things, and then Mahesh ji, you can start the presentation on Darshana. Bhishma ji.
अनम्यूट हैं आप, म्यूटेड हैं आप, अनम्यूट करिए.
Bhishma ji, you are mute.
I think he's
Unmute. हो गया unmute? Okay.
yeah, now you're fine.
हाँ, अब हो गया.
Very auspicious time to have this meeting
Yes.
with very strong messages given by two people here. Of course, we don't need to introduce you to our strong man, Dinesh Agrawal ji. He has been part of us for a long time, and he has been part of our organization and all good organizations for a long time. But anyway, it's nice to have with us now Mahesh ji, who has been introduced very effectively by earlier. So why it is important this time? Because the celebration of the Hindu year. If you remember, if you know, most of you know.
आपका कनेक्शन ठीक नहीं है.
More than perhaps I know many things these days. That this was here, and under Vikrami Samvat, of course. Pardon? So, in Vikrami Samvat, there was a time Vikramaditya established this Vikrami Samvat. there was a time, to my understanding again, Maharishi Dayananda ji established Arya Samaj. Same time, Prabhu Ramachandra, the Rajyabhashek happened on this day, according to some of the studies made. And also on this day was the day when Dr. Hedgawar's birthday came up. Dr. Hedgawar was the founder of HSS, or not HSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And therefore, this is in this way very important day. And I think it's a good idea to start this year with the kind of topics we have today. The first topic is very important. So we will understand from our speaker as to what is being planned to spread the word of Hinduism amongst various sections of society in a very prominent way, in a very modern way, in a very given to all the people all the time. So without saying much about this and about other things, I'll talk about other things later on. Maheshji, please start it.
Namaste, everyone. I feel very privileged today to be among all of you. And today I will be talking about and presenting the wonderful exhibition called Darshana, a glimpse into Hindu civilization. So that we have been working on for quite some time and put in a lot of efforts, and you will see as we move along the presentation that I'm going to show you. You will see how much work has gone into it and what it contains. So we'll go through that, and then what do we expect from all of you here. So that's how I will cover that. And with that said, let me share my screen. Just give me 1 minute. And when I'm sharing, since I have just one screen, so I will not be able to see you. So if you are raising hand or anything, somebody else has to look out for that. I will not be able to.
I will be there, Maheshji, as to assist.
Because I will not be able to see anything.
That's okay.
I'm just
I'll be
arranging
there.
my screen. Sorry,
Yes.
that is the downside of being online. Okay. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
So as it says, Darshana, the name, so even for the name, and Yellowji is well aware of that, there were so many discussions what name we should give. Finally, after a lot of discussions and a lot of inputs, especially from our yuvas, youth and the teenagers, kishores, we came out with this particular name, like Darshana, a glimpse into Hindu civilization. So that's the name of the exhibition that we have planned and we will be rolling out throughout the US. Now, today, so I'll cover, as I said, why Darshana? Why do we want to do that? And what is Darshana? So what it is, I'll go into a little bit more details as much as I can in 15 minutes. And then how can you all help? And then I will quickly show the exhibition material to give you an idea how easy it is logistically because if some of you have been associated with our activities for a long time, so you may remember that way back in 2006 also we had exhibition, wonderful material there also, but it was very bulky, and so we learned from that and made a lot of improvements in this. So you'll see that too, and then we'll have question answers and some suggestion, comments, anything from you. So I want to start with a video to give you an idea why, and this just 1 minute, we use it for our promotion also. So this will give you an idea like why we want to have this exhibition. Basically, we are about now close to 3 million Hindus in US, and we do so much. Our contributions are so much, but how much the main American society and all the dignitaries, all the civic officials, all the township people, all the organizations, how much they know about us, all the LGBTs, all the African American. There's very little they know about us, and whatever they know is more like misconception, like incorrect information because of, you all know, the narratives of colonial or leftist, all those narratives, thanks to that. So the idea about, so if please you can mute. So the idea is to come out with something to remove those misconceptions. So we were planning for what is called as Dharma Awareness Program. And as first step of that, so in Dharma Awareness, what we are planning is going out to different segments of main American society, as I was giving example of, and educating them, telling them about who we really are, what the Hinduism really means. And as a first step, as they say, that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. So we wanted to start with an exhibition of all the covering everything, and I'll go into those details. But before that, just watch this video, how relevant or why we need this kind of exhibition. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. So I will have to, sorry, you may not be able to hear the sound, right? Because I'll have to unshare,
No.
I mean, unshare and start share again. Sorry. Sorry for the goof up. Let me stop sharing. And let me start again, because I forgot to check this share sound. Okay. You can see my screen back, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let's play the video now.
America, a land of opportunity, diversity, and freedom, is home to an ever-changing population. It contains various cultures that have yet to be known and understood. Today, over 2.5 million Hindus who belong to one of the oldest civilizations in the world call America their home. They breathe American air and walk American streets. They attend American schools and vote in American elections. But what is known of their culture? What of their extensive history? What do we know of their philosophies, their beliefs and practices? It is time to know our neighbors. It is time for us, for each of us, one by one, to take a glimpse at the Hindu civilization and to learn a little bit about the colorful backgrounds of our fellow Hindu Americans. To begin to understand their lifestyles, philosophies, and their festivities, we welcome you to Darshana, a glimpse into the Hindu civilization.
So hope you like the video. It kind of gives you complete picture why we wanted to have Darshana. So we use this videos for mostly as an elevator pitch, sending to the dignitaries who we invite, and they like it, and that's a very good kind of our pitching material. Now, what is darshan? So the darshana is an attempt to present a glimpse. And when we say glimpse, because we all know, we are all very learned here, that explaining Hinduism is not easy. So it just presents a glimpse into one of the oldest living civilization through a nationwide traveling exhibition set. Now, that is very simply put. Now, this consists of, as I said, right now 24 posters. And I will play another video of our actual exhibition that we had yesterday in Pennsylvania, where I live, in a suburb of Philadelphia, in Exton to be precise. And in that, we had about 70 officials. And when I say officials, they were like administrators, school principals, school supervisors, and then mayors. Then we had legislatures, state legislatures, and then we had a lot of US Congress candidates from Republican Party, from Democratic Party, and we had police chiefs. So all the segments of the society, and we had dharma followers also, and the interfaith. So we covered a lot of ground, and they all came and they all participated, spent over 2 hours to go through all the pictures and posters. So these posters, a lot of thought has gone into that. So first of all, selecting for the subjects, like what we want to cover, starting from Namaste to the symbols, the tilak, the yoga, the dharma, pursuits, and the fun facts, and all. So, and putting them in a very easy flowing. I don't want to say logical, because we can make logic in anyways, but in very easy flowing way, and making it so easy to follow, yet conveying the crux of every idea, like about yoga, about dharma, and you will see how it was very well received by those who knew almost nothing about our civilization. And I will play one testimonial also, and you will hear what impact it had on the American people. So very well thought out, a lot of work has gone into, and especially our yuvas and kishores, the teenagers, they took a lot of interest and they were involved, and wonderful suggestions, wonderful language, wonderful selection of the theme, how to present. All these were contributed by our yuvas and kishores. So we were so proud of that, and we feel so happy that our second generation is picking up there. So let's move on to the actual exhibition that we had yesterday. It is a couple of minutes only. We kind of took the whole picture and made into a video. So since it was yesterday, we didn't have much time to make it like very professional, but hope it gave you So that was the video of the event that we had yesterday. So if you noticed the different topics on the posters, and you can see how well thought out they were and how well they were flowing in the sequence. And one thing that I want to draw your attention to is if you notice that every station there was at least one person, one volunteer. Now this did not happen overnight, right? Preparing all of them, and each and every poster had very complex subject matter, because you have to really know, and they had very good questions about even the, for example, divine pursuits and divine, like the agnostics, and they ask questions about how can you be Hindu still, like when you don't believe and when you are a believer, and then about the number of gods and goddesses and all these things. So they had all these questions, and all the volunteers were trained. So what went behind that is in the preparation for Dharma awareness, the HSS had prepared a curriculum, a one-day training curriculum, Abhyas work, for the entire day with working with HAF. So both HAF and HSS together came out with a curriculum, and we trained 1,200 volunteers throughout the country to kind of take these Dharma concepts forward to the American society. So this is the first test of their abilities, and they came out with flying colors. So that's the kind of work put into the background, kind of preparation that happened in the background. And you can see the results as we all saw. It went very well, and it was so much light. And we have a lot of requests for follow-up seminars and follow-up exhibitions in their departments, in their schools, in their the legislation offices. So that's all came out of this. And just one testimonial I want to play, and then we'll just wrap it up. So this is one of the interfaith person. And here.
Hi, my name is John Saxon. I'm a member of the Christian Church, and I live in Franklin, Indiana. I'm here looking at the exhibit here of various ways in which the Hindu have contributed to a wide variety of fields. I am a big math aficionado, and so I was really drawn to the mathematics poster over here and the various contributions that ancient Hindu mathematicians have made. I also was especially drawn to the Dharma poster here, the intrinsic order of things. As philosophically, I've always felt that there is such a thing like this, and that it goes beyond a lot of the prescriptive descriptions into something that is felt and known more deeply within, which our poster describes.
So that was the testimonial. And now how you can help. So obviously become an active partner and support local exhibition events by inviting many non-Hindus, as many as you can, in fact, for this event. So it will be happening in all the places where you live. And we can share our schedule with you, and you can look up and know when it is going to be in your area, so that you can get connected with our Karyakartas and work together to make it even bigger success. And then the one thing that we definitely want from you, the help, that is where we are a little bit struggling, is to share about this exhibition with all the second generation adults in who are in your contact, and invite them for local programs, and obviously spread the word. And that is before. So this preview is a video of the actual how it is shipped and it comes. So if there is time, I will play. You can see the actual posters again. You saw that on previous videos. So in the interest of time, I'm not playing it, but if we have time, I will play it later, and we can go from there. So I'll stop sharing here for the question and answers. And since I want to look at you and talk, so I want to stop sharing. Can I stop sharing now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Maheshji, first of all, thank you very much for bringing this program, on the FISI platform, where we can spread the word among the Indian, non-Indian, and try to find a way to collaborate. I'll start the first question, and then let's see if anyone has. So as you are going through these exhibitions, and obviously a lot of people have different questions, are you making those questions in your some question data bank or something, so that can be helpful to others?
We have started already frequently asked questions, and we keep adding to that as we learn something, anything new. We keep adding to that. Yes, we are doing that, and we keep adding to that. So that bank is getting bigger and bigger. Yes.
Anyone wants to ask any question?
Yes, this is Dr. Sampath Shivangi. Now, is it a part of a temple in Pennsylvania, or is it a separate society you have formed? How do we start? I'm in Mississippi. Suppose I want to do something like what you have.
No, it is. I don't know. I gave a wrong impression. It is nationwide. Pennsylvania is just one of the places that we have started. So we have it nationwide. So I'm trying to remember the total number we already planned. So it is at least over 150 places. Is planned already.
Really?
Throughout the nation. So Pennsilvania, it just happened. I happened to be in Pennsylvania. So I just took that video and for today's event, and also for our own purpose. But Pennsylvania is just one of the places, or one of the states, but it is going to be everywhere, all around.
Vivekji, Maheshji.
Yes, Dinesh.
Yes.
The questions which you are receiving from the audience,
yes.
Based on those questions, are you going to revise some of your posters?
We may, if need be. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing you mentioned in the beginning that you had attended my talk on similar subject.
Yes, I did.
So maybe next time I can supplement your today's presentation with my presentation, which is very, very relevant. What you showed those posters.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if you still remember that presentation. It is long.
I do. Actually, I had it for a long time, that presentation, but then the laptop that I had, that crashed. So I lost. But I had it for many years.
I can send you again.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because few years ago, Maheshji, our VHP of America, Maheshji, late Maheshji.
Yes.
He borrowed it from me, and he used to give it to in India in schools. Many schools. He presented that presentation.
Yeah.
You do it in temples or it doesn't have to be in temple?
No, it doesn't have to be, but we already have the agreement and sponsorship from BAPS at national level. So they are also considering, and they are in the planning stage. This places wherever they have the facility, bigger facility, they are going to hold it also.
Yeah, I think they are better.
But that is in addition to what we have planned.
Mahesh ji.
Yes.
Mahesh ji.
Yes.
The questions people are asking at this time.
Yes.
To core of some of problems in the past. We are shy of talking. Let us do that. The reason is, I'm not telling today, I was telling when I became a Sanchalik in America. At that time, also used to say the same thing, that we need to go out with the positive aggression, about Hinduism to people, tell them the stories of Hinduism, and also ask other people. Like, for example, we have Champatji here, Champat Shivangaji. He is a very, very prominent. He is a national hero of his own kind. And we have Surendraji here, who's our president. He is the president of, he is almost the president of API, organization, which has a lot of helpers. So if you pick up some of these people, normally we means our organization do not believe in these things, okay? Hesitation is there. But I can tell you, I attended the program of, it was 16 or whatever, it was 06 somewhere in Louisiana. And I was shocked. There are only 5-6 people. It's a big program, but people didn't show up. Reason is that we are shy in explaining, telling people in advance. Let us think about it. I'm just saying because you are here in the meeting, and all our people are all more concerned with all these issues. If you need help from them or anybody else for that reason, we should go and get them and put them on the task. Come on, let's do it. If you need money, ask them. They will give you money. Believe me. We can get you money, more money right you leave here if you ask for it. But we have to ask for it and show them. Right, Dineshji?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we need to be aggressive about it. We have been talking about this for a long time. And of course, we have progress, but Hindus need no selling. They just need more organization. But that's all. I have to say this to you as part of, as a Swamsevak, okay? Let's put this.
So that is why I'm here. I feel like wo chota muh badi baat wali ho jati hai, because I feel like you are all distinguished people, and I didn't. It was just to present the facts. That's why it was not an education or
present anything. More facts.
Yeah, and I will be working with Vivek
Don't worry about
to get because I don't.
People in the world more.
Okay, Vivek ji, can we start the second part?
Yes, I think so. So, Bhishmji, you are paused. So, Maheshji, I will be in touch with you and anyone who is interested in, like Dr. Sampatji.
Go ahead now. I'm sorry.
Because see, well, you said we are all 150 organizations.
What's the big
events? But we never had in Mississippi, not even one.
I will have to find out where in Mississippi you are.
I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm the capital city of Mississippi.
Okay,
Jackson.
so I will find out because I don't know off of my head, but I will find out anything there. If not, is there a possibility to organize? We'll look into it.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So I think, Dineshji, let's get onto the second topic, which is also a very interesting Kashmir files, which is very talked topic in today's world. So please take it from here.
Okay.
Let me briefly mention about our leader here.
You are the leader.
No, I'm not the leader. I'm the follower these days. But I think what I'm trying to say is that he is a person with the vision, with understanding, with commitment from childhood. I know that. And he is above many things, but he doesn't want any name, fame, anything else. He has it. But I know him so well. So I always call him my soulmate. So he is. He's brilliant. He's sharp. He's understanding, but he's always for the truth. So I think we thought he's the best person to talk about this issue, which is very current hot issue of the world. Okay, and I know he studies a lot, he reads a lot, he sees a lot, and he talks to me a lot about this. Go ahead, Dinesh.
Okay, so first let me ask, have all of you seen this movie or not? How many of you have not seen?
I have seen.
I see 2-3 hands.
Where do you see them? We don't.
Theaters.
Well, I went
Theater.
about 100 miles from my home to watch
I
this
see.
movie 2 times. I have
Okay.
watched it 2 times.
Okay.
And 100 miles from my house. So you have to search on Google,
I see.
which is the nearest theater from your
But
house.
can you not see online or something?
No.
Not yet.
Not-
I mean, there is a pirated copy, but that has been cut here and there, and you should not watch
It's
the
not
pirated
worth. Yeah,
copy
it's
anyway.
not worth
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so it has been since it started on March 11th, almost 3.5 weeks. This Kashmir files, it has brought a kind of a tsunami in India and abroad. The movie has impacted hugely the psychosis of Hindus and others all over the world. We have seen this in news and TV channels everywhere. And to our surprise, pleasant surprise, that it has brought unthinkable unity among masses in such a short time, in 2-3 weeks. So the movie has opened the files, the real files of the perpetrators of this heinous crime, which we call genocide of Hindus, the facilitators of Islamic terrorism and genocide, the political players who remained mute spectators and criminally watched the genocide of Hindus in Kashmir Valley. And they are still finding excuses to prove themselves innocent. So, in my view, mostly people go to watch movies for entertainment. But this movie is not for entertainment. It really brings in front of your eyes the real agony, torture, atrocities, and barbarism of Islamic terror during those fateful days in January 1990. Actually, जब आप ये मूवी देखते हैं और मूवी के बाद ये आपकी आत्मा को झकझोर देती है. And you wonder what happened. How come it was not told to the world? So in fact, the movie is not just to show what happened to the Kashmiri Hindus in Kashmir Valley in 1990, but it is a gripping tale of pain, struggle, suffering of Kashmiri Hindus and needs to be understood by everyone so that we ensure that such a history is not repeated elsewhere in India in future to our children and their children. So let me just give briefly some facts about the movie. For the first time, it was really amazing that hundreds of saffron-clad sadhus and sons for the first time entered theaters to watch this movie. They never entered theaters, but just to watch this movie, they came. And normally, when a typical movie, hero, heroine singing and all that, you hear the sounds of whistles in the cinema halls. But this time, we heard the chanting of Jai Shri Ram and Vande Mataram. It seems as though a powerful wave of patriotism has gripped the entire nation. The movie is making all-time records. Each day, it is breaking one record after another. Its box office collections are beyond imagination. It has already crossed rupees 300 crores in worldwide collections in 3 weeks and may cross 400 mark in coming weeks. It is still running in many, many theaters all over the world. In fact, in some theaters, especially night shows, are still house full. Last week, my nephew went to New Jersey, one of the theaters near his house, and it was house full at 9 o'clock. So it is unthinkable for any movie producer, considering its production cost was only about 15 crore rupees, that it has broken many records set of high star cast mega budget movies. And also, if you remember the news about this movie before it was released, that there was an anti-movie propaganda was spread by secularists, leftist, Congress party members, National Conference of Farooq Abdullah, PDF, Pakistan, and so on. But when the movie was released, this whole propaganda was demolished very soon. And now it has unleashed a healthy debate all over India. We see every day something going on about this movie. So now this movie has prepared an atmosphere to punish all those people responsible for the Kashmiri Hindus' exodus and genocide. The legal process has already started in Supreme Court. The movie is still running all over India, including in many South Indian cities in Hindi, because it is still in a Hindi version. And they have a substantial occupancy. And the producer of the movie has already announced that it will be dubbed in South Indian languages, and it is in progress, and soon we will see in other languages also. So with that little commentary, let me give you, for those who have not watched this movie yet, that what is this movie is all about, very briefly. Well, it is not a movie, as I mentioned earlier. It has transformed itself into a movement. We will not call it a movie. So what happened on 19 January 1990 and afterwards has been depicted based on factual events. So it is not just some imagination of some producer or scriptwriter. The production team, led by Vivek Agnihotri and his wife Pallavi Joshi, they had been traveling various places for 2 years to find the real victims and their surviving relatives of this genocide or exodus. And they have collected testimonies of about over 700 people in over 1,500 hours of video recording. And the movie script was composed based on the actual dialogues of these persons they interviewed. And Vivek Agnihotri mentioned that he did not write a single dialogue from his mind. Each and every dialogue and incident is based on the real expressions or dialogues or whatever the real victims mentioned to them. So the storyline, it revolves mainly around one Pandit family of the prime character, Mr. Pushkar Nath Pandit. He is a school teacher and he has a son named Karan, Karan's wife Sharda, and 2 grandchildren, Shiva, about 10 years old, and Krishna, about 2 years old. And the story, the depiction of this whole thing, it goes back and forth, and mostly it is shown in flashback. It describes in a very powerful and most gripping narration of how during 1989 and 90, the Islamic terrorists systematically conducted the Kashmiri Pandit genocide and their eventual exodus from the valley using this famous slogan, which comes in the movie very often, Ralib, Ghalib, Ya Chalib, which means convert to Islam, leave the valley, or die. And when you leave the valley, leave your women folks behind. So such slogans, they were shouted for many, many days and nights from all the mosques through loudspeakers to create fear in the minds of Hindus so that they leave the valley. And that is what happened. So the rest of the story is narrated by 4 friends of Mr. Pushkar Nath Pandit. to Krishna, his grandson, who has now grown up and studies in ANU. Actually, it is JNU, but the censor changed it to ANU. And he comes back home with the ashes of his grandfather to be scattered in his ancestral home as per his last wish. Now, these four friends, surprisingly, they are named Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Hari. So, Brahma is an IAS officer, Hari is a DGP, Mahesh Kumar is a doctor in a local hospital, and Vishnu is a journalist from Delhi. So, these four friends of Pushkarnath Pandit, they are the ones who narrate the entire story to Krishna when he comes back from Delhi to the Kashmir Valley to scatter his grandfather's ashes to his parental house. And there are two villains in the movie. One is militant commander Farooq Malik Bitta, who is also known as Bitta Karate, and he is now in prison, Tihar jail. And Professor Radhika Menon, a ENU professor, leftist. So when Krishna is in ANU or JNU, he has been brainwashed by Professor Radhika Menon. He was deliberately made to believe that his parents died in a car accident and Kashmir deserves an azadi. The government of India is responsible for all the terrorist activities, etc., and so on. So he's totally brainwashed. But now through these four characters, the truth is revealed to him layer by layer. And that is the beauty of this movie. The way they have revealed the truth of killing of his parents, that really makes you cry many, many times. And you never know how 3 hours were passed in sitting in the theater. So in the process, how the then Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah's role in giving a free hand to the terrorist activities and doing nothing to provide safety to Kashmiri Pandits is also shown in the movie. And also how Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, he preferred his friendship with Farooq over the safety of Hindus is also shown. He did not do anything. And similarly, there are many other political characters and their involvement or doing nothing is also shown in the movies very frequently. So the Pushkar Nath Pandit, he requests his friend Brahm Dutt, the IGP, the ISA officer, a civil servant, for Karan's protection. Karan is his son. So Brahma, he travels with Pushkar to Kashmir and witnesses the violence against Kashmiri Pandits. He takes up the issue with the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, and instead of taking any action against the terrorist, this Farooq Abdullah, he suspends Brahma from his post. And the militant commander Farooq Malik Bitta, he was a student of Pushkar Pandit, a former student of Pushkar Pandit. He comes to Pushkar Nath's house with his terrorist friends to kill Karan because they think that Karan is a spy for government of India. So Karan, he hides in a rice container. A Muslim neighbor and Karan's very fast friend, he indicates to Bitta where Karan was hiding. And Bitta shot him by AK-47, about 100 bullets. So Pushkar and his daughter-in-law Sharda, they plead for their lives, and Bitta compels Sharda to eat rice soaked in her husband's blood in exchange for their lives. Just see the barbarism shown here. And after Bitta and his gang leave the house, Pushkar takes Karan to the hospital and requests his doctor friend Mahesh to save Karan's life. However, the hospital gets taken over by the militants who forbid the hospital staff from treating non-Muslims. Subsequently, the Karan succumbs to injuries from the gunshot, so he also dies. So to ensure their safety, Pushkar and his family are taken by their journalist friend Vishnu Ram to some poet called Kaul, a Hindu poet who maintains a cordial relationship with the Muslims. So Kaul, he takes in many Pandits into his home safely, but a group of militants, they arrive next day to pick Kaul and his son under the guise of offering protection. And the rest of the Pandits, they leave the place but are later shocked to find corpses of Kaul and his son hanging from a tree. So refugee Pandits from the Kashmir Valley settled in Jammu and live on very little amount of ration and in poor conditions. So they have shown the poor conditions of these refugees. They are living in camps in Jammu. So now Brahma is appointed as an advisor to the new governor of Jammu and Kashmir. At his request, the Home Minister visits the Jammu camps where Pushkar demands the removal of Article 370 and the resettlement of Kashmiri Pandits. And Brahma manages to get Sharda, Krishna's mother, a government job in Nadi Marg in Kashmir, and the family moves there. So this story goes like this, and then the last 15 minutes or so, that is the climax of the movie. So the climax, that one day a group of militants headed by Bitta, they dress up as members of Indian Army and arrive at Nadi Marg. They start rounding up the Pandits living there. Sharda resists when the militants get hold of her elder son Shiva, who is about 10 years old. And this angry Farooq Bitta, he strips her, made her semi-naked, and she was gang raped. Actually, they don't show the gang rape because it was censored. And they cut her body in two using the mechanical saw. And then they lined up all the other Pandits, they identify them. They line up Shiva and remaining Pandits, 23 of them, and point blank shot them. And that is where the movie ends. So now in the beginning, they show the Krishna, the youngest son, who is now adult, who was brought up by Pushkar, a student in ANU I mentioned in the beginning. So he's contesting the student election, president post. And as the advice of Radhika Menon, who has really brainwashed him, he goes back to Kashmir Valley, and she asked him to make some video of the actual whatever is happening to the terrorist. And she gives him the contact number of Bitta. So he meets the Bitta, and Krishna meets Bitta and accuses him of being responsible for the situation of the Pandits. But Bitta declares himself to be a new age Gandhi, who's leading a non-violent democratic movement. Bitta claims that it was the Indian army who killed Krishna's mother and brother. When Krishna questions Brahma about this claim, Brahma hands him newspaper cuttings collected by Pushkar, his grandfather, which had reported that militants disguised as Indian army soldiers killed them, and these newspaper cuttings are called the Kashmir Files. That is how the name of the movie is. So Krishna, he returns, he reads through those files, and he knows the truth now, that what happened on January 19, 1990 to his family and hundreds of other Kashmiri Pandits. So he comes back to JNU, and there he gives his speech. And I think that is the best speech ever anybody has given on Kashmir. So when he finishes the speech, in which he mentions what happened to his mother, to his brother, and who did it, and that was shocking of his mentor, Professor Menon, and other students. And Krishna is then met with resistance and ridicule from students and an eventual embrace of a few. His speech is the hallmark of the movie, and the climax shows how his mother and brother were brutally killed by Bitta. The last scenes of these horrible incidents are heartrending and will bring tears in your eyes. You will be shocked the barbarism and death of humanity. How his mother was made naked in front of public, gang raped, and finally cut into 2 pieces by a mechanical electrical saw. The audience remained shocked, silenced, agonized, and many cried by this horrible incident. And the movie ends with the identification of 23 innocent Hindus, including children and women. They were lined up and killed point blank by Bitta Karate. Shiva was one of them, 10 years old. So these were the real and factual incidents occurred in Kashmir Valley, and the whole world was kept uninformed until now. So that is the storyline. And so some of the comments people made about the movie, that the Kashmir Files is on its way to join the list of historic blockbusters in Hindi cinema. The last time a small film achieved this was Jai Santoshima in 1975. And this movie has crossed the records of even Sholay or Jai Santoshima. And Agnihotri has already announced his next project, the Delhi Files. That is 1984 massacre of Sikhs. And many other things happened. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Agnihotri and his wife, actress Pallavi Joshi, who features in the film as the left liberal professor Radhika Menon. And many state governments have already made it tax-free. An amazing thing is that it has made more money in spite of the fact that ticket price is almost half than the other big movies. And it has really broken their records. So some people are saying that this movie provokes a hatred against another community. Then there are comments on this charge that all this talk about divisiveness and political propaganda doesn't hold true simply because this is part of India's history, unfortunate as it is. I really don't think it should be read too deep into. Somebody has made a brave attempt to tell a tale of a community that has been victimized and subjected to an exodus. At some level, this is a process of healing because for the first time in 32 years, the tale has been told widely to the public. If the people of India had rejected this story, we would not have seen these box office numbers. And there are many other things. Pallavi Joshi, she's a co-producer and she played the role of Radhika Menon, the JNU professor. She also says that their main focus is to bring the sufferings that Kashmiri Hindus had gone through in the valley in 1990 to everyone's attention. We have only seen Kashmir through a political lens. We have seen Kashmir only as a disturbed area. We don't know about a fourth place apart from Gulmarg, Srinagar, and Sonmarg in Kashmir. But there is so much more than that. Unfortunately, India and Pakistan went through a terrible partition in 1947. However, the partition ended for us after a few months, but it never ended for Kashmir, she tells us. I think I will stop here because we are running out of time. If anybody else can add their experience who have seen this movie or any other comment, you are mostly welcome.
Thank you, Dineshji. I think you have really taken us through the storyline and brought us the agony what Kashmiri Pandits have gone through. So if anyone wants to comment anything or add something, ask any question, please.
Yes. Sorry, I always have a question. It's almost 32 years, and we had a BJP government in 2002. Vajpayee was there and Modi ji came second term. And why this was kept under the rug all these years? What was the reason?
Well, that is the reason that Atal Bihari Vajpayee never had the majority.
No, but he was the prime minister.
And
So-
Farooq Abdullah.
I'm a BJP guy. I'm 200% Hindu. I'm not questioning their integrity at all. Please don't
So-
think that way.
So
I'm just was wondering myself, where did we go wrong in this process?
I think it's not a political question. It's a public domain question. It's one thing to say why a BJP, when it was in power, did not do anything. But the other part is also true. While BJP is in power right now, what have they done for Kashmir? So if you start to look at from that angle, it has
Yes.
so many different aspects. It
I
should
agree.
be looking at the purely public point of view. There should not be any BJP versus who were the players at that time. We can discuss it, but who did what? That's a totally different subject.
I'm not questioning their integrity at all. Not at all.
It's just no.
BJP has done
The
so much.
question is fine.
370 and all. Nobody has
I-
done it. No.
I think
credit to them.
if a movie would have been made around 2001, it would have been a big flop because people were not mentally prepared as they are now. A lot of information is there through other mediums. At that time, there were TV controlled by government, movies controlled by government. So it would have been same effect like Kissa Kursi Ka. I mean, that was a movie about Indira Gandhi and it didn't see the light.
Mm.
So
I think you are right, because similar movie, not exactly same type, in 1993, Ashok Pandit made a documentary on exodus of Kashmiri Pandits in 1993, and it was not received. I did not even know about it until now. But now the atmosphere in India and the real BJP government, full majority, and Article 370 has been lifted, Article 35A has been lifted, and you have your own president rule there. So the whole atmosphere is different now. That is why this movie has received such a huge reception all over the world.
I agree 100%.
If it has been made in 1995 or in 2001 during Vajpayee, I don't know whether it would have been even released to even 100 cinema theaters. Now it has released in 6,000 cinema theaters.
I think one of the main reasons is that Modi has changed the perception in India of Hinduism. I think the reason that the movie has become very popular now is because of Modi and the way he has handled Hinduism. I think the whole perception has changed. The thing is that Modi goes to the Ganga and he bathes there and he offers penance and all these kind of things. He goes to the Himalayas and he prays there. So that is a different thing about Hinduism. And I think, I don't know it is BJP, but I personally feel it is Modi and Modi and Modi. Now, what I find abhorrent, this is
And
so...
now Yogi also, Modi plus Yogi.
What I find
That's a new phenomenon.
that Kejriwal in the Delhi Assembly, he fun of the movie. The thing is that how can this happen? And the thing is that, the thing is that he feels that because of his party's victory in Punjab, he can do that. I mean, this is unconscionable. And I do not understand why more people are not protesting in Delhi against the kind of nonsense that Kejriwal in the assembly, in the state assembly.
I saw that.
Yeah.
No, they did. They protested in front of his house for 2 days almost.
Jantar Mantar, yes, is going on.
Yeah, I think.
And there is a PLI in the court also against him.
Yeah.
And
Tejasvi,
he's not the
MP,
only
went
one.
to his
Even
house,
Sarath
protested
Pawar
against
said
it.
it never happened.
Yeah.
He went to the other extreme. I mean,
Mhm.
so there are people who are still denying it. Initially, they went to Supreme Court to block the movie,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
it has come out with all the obstacles, and people are liking it, and even the show times are not well defined. It is for the whole night sometimes.
Yeah. You know the one recent thing what happened? Indian censor board had cut 7 scenes from the movie.
Okay.
Like the one I mentioned, gang rape of Sharda, and some children also brutally killed, and that JNU has been named ANU, something like that. But in UAE, first this movie was banned, then people wrote letters to the prime minister, whosoever is there, and they got several thousand signatures, and they studied the movie, and now it is going to be shown day after tomorrow all over UAE without any censor cut. Those 7 cuts are there. They said it is fine. Indian censor board made some cut, but not UAE.
Mhm.
The whole thing is Bollywood is against such a movie. Even today, we don't have maybe one
Well,
or two
now
persons.
you will see in next 2-3 years there will be more and more
Yes.
similar type of movies will be coming out from Bollywood
Mm.
because they are businessmen. Money talks.
Yes.
I
This is
hope
the only
something comes.
movie. This is the only movie in which only 15 crore rupees were spent, and they have got 20 times of that. No other movie in the history of Indian cinema or in even Hollywood, they have got that much return.
I think this movie has first time brought that aspect of cinema as a soft power, that it
Yeah.
can really change the things, and it's not only at the India level, right? It's international commissions of human rights, and all over the world, things are
Yeah.
shaking because of movie. It is
Well,
such a
Capitol
remarkable,
Hill gave a
yes,
reception to
right,
Vivek Agnihotri and Pallavi Joshi,
right. It's
and
such a
in
remarkable
Rhode
phenomenon.
Island gave a
Yes,
citation, and they
Mhm.
recognized that it was really a Hindu genocide.
Yeah, they were
And
the
now
first one to
he has been
recognize.
invited by Prime Minister of UK to give a
Mhm.
presentation of Kashmiri Pandits' situation. They have asked Vivek Agnihotri to give a presentation to their parliament. I mean, and these kind of things, very Sharad Pawar, who cares for Sharad Pawar and
Yes,
Kejriwal?
But
there will
Dinesh
be
ji,
people always.
They are jokers. They are only, they have a vote bank. So they want to appease those vote bank. That is why they make these kind of statements. And they know these statements they are making, they are all false. They have not seen the movie. Sharad Pawar has not seen the movie.
so, Dinesh ji,
Bhishma ji, you are
let me come
muted.
back. I just want to make a
Bhishma ji.
comment. Dinesh ji, you have very nicely and well presented
Thanks,
narration
Dinesh.
of this entire movie event. It doesn't matter how it is, but right now, what I think in the positive way, it is the awakening of the Hindus and other entire population of India as well as people living outside of India. So we all are know the fact what happened that was, and now people started thinking about what's going on. So this is awakening a thing in that way. It was everything sad happened. Whatever narrated is very hard. Some of us not to see the movie because that may be the reason they tried to remove some of those ghastly scenes from the movie because people cannot watch. Some ladies they cannot watch it. one of us, we cannot watch it. Lot of people, they can go and watch that type of horror. I mean, what happened anyway? But what happened now? Story is out. With the help of the Modi government, I'll say the BJP government is right now. I think most of the people, they are supporting this event. Now people are awake. Let's see how far this message goes to all of them. Be careful, recognize yourself, go for it, and fight for your rights. So time has come now. So awakening is there. That's what in word I say. This is awakening of Hindus. Now Modi ji has already started this thing. Maybe there may be always opposition. He went to Kashi, he went to Ayodhya, he is coming to Mathura, all those religious, he even went to Badrinath, I mean, the Kedarnath. So all those things are now Hindu awakening. So at least that part is positive. What will happen politically? I think people support is needed. Election has to come. Modi government has to come. Even in UP, Yogi ji is doing all right. So far, what I heard and what I hear, now everything is getting well. So this awakening is very positive sign for India, and it could be sign for us living in this country too. If India is getting stronger, we are getting stronger. We are not that way. So I thank you very much for presenting this movie script over here for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Hariji. I think time is going fast. Bhishmji, if you want to say something.
Before you end, I would request Surendra ji.
Dr.
Purohit ji.
Unmute करिए अपने आप muted हैं आप muted हैं
National President to say something. Surendra ji.
Muted हैं
Yeah, he is muted.
Dr. Purohit. No?
Yeah, still muted.
He has to unmute himself.
Okay, इनको on कर दो, on कर दो, unmute कर दो.
I can call him.
Vivek ji कर दें.
I'll call him.
I cannot do.
Oh, you cannot.
I'll call him in a minute.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
he's done.
I think
No, he's okay. Now
Can you hear me
he's
now?
back.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
yeah, police.
Okay. I think it was a very nice presentation, and because it's as if you are seeing the movie, the way he presented step by step. I think the things are going to happen now is going to be get into the politics, which is already started. Congress Party, Aam Aadmi parties, and all these, they are denial. They are completely in denial what happened there, and I think eventually they will have to learn the lesson. If all the Hindus of the Congress Party, Aam Aadmi Party wakes up, and I think so maybe 50% will wake up looking at this movie, and I think they might get that the BJP's propaganda and all these. Eventually, those people came out the movie, but I understand that they are not in denial. They really are happened because the way the movie was presented, I understand. So I think it's going to make an impact on Hinduism, and I think it is a great thing which happened, and I think we have to get into it and maybe show this movie to our politicians here once it come into the thing, and let them look into that what happened in India that way. So I think their eyes will also open up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. I think it reminds me one of the song we used to sing in Sangh, always sing, Hindu jage to Vishwa jagega.
I think Purohit, this movie was presented over here somewhere in Rhode Island or New York before it was released finally in India. It has been seen by some congressmen and senators over here.
Yeah,
I don't know where that came.
They presented the certificate. Did that.
The Speaker of the House and the Governor, they certified.
So let's hear something if Bhishmji wants to say, and then.
No, everything is okay. I mean, I have nothing to add. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Bhishmji. I think it was a very thought-provoking session. First by Maheshji to do something for us as a Sangh Karikram, which we can influence people. And as I was saying, Hindu jage to Vishwa jagega is really, that's what it is. And now second by Dinesh ji, it's beautifully, very nicely done on the Kashmir files. So I thank everyone for today's program, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks again.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
Shubhratri.
Thank you.
Shubhratri,
Thank you.
good night.
Namaste.
for organizing this.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Good night.